On social media at all, you know what this is. This is Threads. It's Instagram's new version of Twitter. I don't know how I feel about it yet, but we'll see. If you want to follow my Threads account, I'll leave it linked below, or you could go head on over to my Instagram and follow me there. So we'll see. Today, bringing in the classic White Monster. It's been my go-to for the last little bit now, and just can't beat it. But today, last video, it's been a little bit more than a week. I've been traveling, visiting family for 4th of July. Beside the point, last video showed you guys my entire playing card collection. Today, we're gonna go over my top five decks. And to kick it off, what I wanted to do is I wanted to separate it a little bit. I didn't want to have repeating brands of cards. So I have one deck for each brand of cards that I own. And first off is the Ace Invaders by Penguin Magic. Really cool design. It's a borderless design, which makes fans incredibly nice and cool. Let's see if I can get a better one. Look great in fans, and the faces on here are very Alien inspired. If you can see that. Just very interesting take on classic design. They handle really well. I like them. They're actually a gift from my buddy Brian. He owns his own company, and when I was first kind of getting into playing cards, joined a Facebook group, and he sent these to me as kind of a welcome to the group. So Brian, thanks for these. If you're watching this, that is the Ace Invaders by Penguin Magic, printed by USPCC. I want to say almost all of these are USPCC, save one, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Bringing it into number 2, and these kind of are in order from out of my top 5, going from 5 up to number 1. So that was number 5. Number 4 is these, the Bicycle Amplified. Playing cards. And these are really almost like a cardistry type based design. So you have this really cool pattern going across in a fan. The back design is a really cool whatever this is. But again, Bicycle, classic stock. They feel great, they handle great, typical from what you would expect out of USPCC as far as quality of stock goes. But the faces are really cool. The red is swapped out for an orange, and the court cards match the color gradient. And the black is, I don't know if it'll pick up on camera, but it's more of like a really dark navy as opposed to like a normal black. So really cool concept. Again, number 4, not my favorite out of the 5, but it still deserves a place in my top 5. So that's these. Next up is an interesting one, is the National Parks playing cards. This is produced by Keymaster Games, printed with USPCC. So the quality of the cards is there, and back design is a really cool green and gold, sort of with metallic ink. And the faces, so Ace of Spades is that right there. But once you get to the face cards is where this deck really, really shines. Because the faces are all national parks. So each one is a different national park. And I really like that concept because proceeds, if you buy a deck, you're helping national parks, and you get a really cool design and concept wrapped all in the same package. So really cool for Keymaster Games to be doing that, and amazing deck of cards. Now that is 3 out of the 5. Right now I want to plug in some honorable mentions really quick before we get into the top 2. First honorable mention is the Bicycle Vintage deck. Like I said, I didn't want to double up on brands, but I feel like this one really deserves its own spot because it has this insanely cool, really vintage style. All of the faces are as if it had been sitting in a pirate ship for a couple hundred years, dirtied up. And the fans on this just look absolutely spectacular with that border break running all around the side. Like typical bicycle stock, USPCC, great cards. And as far as like themed cards go, these are some of my favorite. These are the Harry Potter cards by Theory 11. Plug your favorite of the 4 colors in. My favorite is the blue. Blue happens to be my favorite color. This is back design. Really intricate. That's what I love with Theory 11 is they get really intricate with their back designs. But where I feel they sort of fall short is they make the tuck cases, these beautiful, intricate, embossed foiling, all of this beautiful artwork on the boxes, and I feel like the cards kind of suffer in the mix of all of that because you see this beautiful blue and gold and all the detailing, and while the detailing remains in the back design, you lose. I feel like this would have been so much better had they incorporated some sort of like gold metallic ink like they did with the tuck box. I know that can get a little expensive, so I know that they go all out with the boxes and then leave the cards sort of falling short. They don't fall short because they're still amazing cards, but in comparison, I feel like that's the way that Theory 11 does it. Not complaining, but if they were to ever do something in the future, that's what I would like to see. For fans, with this, thin borders, and so the fans look pretty good. And then, as always with the faces, you have characters from the movies. Of course, my battery decides to die, so again, Ace of Spades. This has to be, in my opinion, one of the best looking Ace of Spades I've ever seen. They really killed it on this. With all the design aspects really, but especially with that right there. The last honorable mention I have for playing cards is, you saw my last video, you already know, Star Wars. Star Wars has been my favorite sort of franchise nerdy thing for as long as I can remember. I grew up on Star Wars, and so that was my biggest thing growing up, was always watching Star Wars movies, playing lightsabers, pretending to be a Jedi, you know, all the things that little kids do. And so that was how I spent most of my time growing up. And again, with Theory 11, they like to do these thin borders, which I really do appreciate. Back design is, you have the outline of the Death Star and the throne room. If you know anything about Star Wars, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you just have this really cool design. You have the logo of the Empire right there in the middle, and Darth Vader's lightsaber running along either side. With Jokers, not identical, but you know, open up 2 packs, switch the Jokers out, and then you have identical Jokers if that's your thing. My favorite, if you were wondering, if I can find it here, is the Jack of Spades, being Boba Fett. Boba Fett is by far my favorite character in all of Star Wars. My favorite of the movies is Empire Strikes Back. He makes a very prevalent role in that movie, and I don't know, just the super cool, he's like the cool kid in the back of the classroom is how I feel Boba Fett is. Been my favorite character ever since I first saw Star Wars as a kid, and it's been that way ever since. Now, back to top 5, number 2. And this was a little bit of a toss-up for me. I had a really hard time choosing between these 2 and where to put them on this list, but now that I've made a decision, I'm pretty happy on where it stands. And so, for number 2, we have, if it'll pick up, the Knights playing cards by Illusionist in collaboration with Chris Ramsey, Daniel Madison, and I believe Owen Jones is the guy that designed these. And I have absolutely been loving these cards. And you can kind of tell, I don't know how well it's going to pick up on camera, but these are really starting to work because I've been using them so much. And when I said that all of these cards are USPCC Save It B1, it's this one. This is Cardamundi on their luxury pressed E7 stock. So it is a crushed stock on Cardamundi paper. Back design is really, really cool. You have this really loose border. There isn't actually technically a border, but it is all made up of tiny little chess pieces, and the border is made up because those chess pieces cease to exist. Jokers. You do have one set of identical Jokers. So this crow sitting on top of a fallen king. And the other set I don't use, so I don't have it in this deck, but it's pretty much just 2 opposite facing knights. One that says Ramsey, one that says Madison. The red on the faces has been swapped out for gold. And all of the court cards are completely custom. So King of Hearts is Chris Ramsey, and I believe it's the King of Spades that is Daniel Madison, but let me confirm that. No, King of Spades is actually David Blaine. So, I stand mistaken. King of Diamonds, that is Daniel Madison, right there. So, really cool concept, and these cards handle, I'm gonna stand up for this one so I don't mess it up. But these cards, these cards handle so good. I've always been a USPCC guy, but feeling these cards from Cardamundi, there's just something about them that feels really good. Fans, they fan amazing, and I could literally just play with these all day. They feel so good. But one thing that I really like about these, let's see if you can catch it on camera. If you look in this corner right here, these cards are marked. Really cool marking system done by Chris Ramsey and pretty ingenious. If you want to learn that marking system, head on over to Chris Ramsey's channel where he does a full breakdown of the marking system on these. It's not my place to say it, and it's not my place to share it. If you want to learn, go over to his channel. And with that being said, that brings it to my number 1 pick for my favorite playing cards, my top 5. This rounds it off. If you've seen any of my recent videos, this should come as no surprise to any of you. Monarchs. Picked up my first deck in 2017. It's kind of got me out of the Riderbacks Bicycle typical playing cards and into what is known as luxury and custom playing cards. This really kind of opened my eyes to what playing cards could be, and I haven't looked back since. I now have probably right now sitting in my collection probably 12 or 13 of these decks. These specifically are the purple. I've been really loving this specific deck. I love the blue, I love the green. I don't have any of the red because I don't like the red. I've been really loving this purple lately, and it's really starting to grow on me. I only have 2 decks of the purples. Majority have blue. I have 1 deck of the green, but I think I have 10 or 11 decks of the blue Monarchs. They're just the easiest to, if I'm going to a family gathering or someplace with a bunch of people and I feel like doing Magic, the blue Monarchs are what I'm going to use. They've been my staple for cards that I use for a long time now, and I'm thinking about switching over to the purple. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But again, classic USPC. That was a terrible fan. Classic USPC stock. You have a pretty standard font, but what changes from your typical bicycle rider backs is all of that yellow accenting on the court cards has been swapped out for this gold metallic ink, and I like that. What I don't love about rider backs is that bright yellow. I have the same issue with the Jerry's Nuggets, and it's just I don't love that. It makes me not want to use them, so I use these instead. Ace of Spades, absolutely gorgeous. Some of that same metallic ink on the face right there, and you just can't go wrong with a deck of Monarchs. Any color you choose is all going to be just the same, but these are by far my absolute favorite cards. Back design, this is what it looks like. That sword with the snake going all the way through, and the, I don't know what to call that, leaves, I guess. Just a really intricate back design. Elegant would be more of a word instead of intricate, but they're just amazing cards, and ones that I have had in my pocket consistently the most out of any playing cards ever. That wraps it up. That is my top 5 plus some playing cards. And just to give a little bit of a recap, number 5, Ace Invaders by Penguin Magic. Number 4 is Bicycle Amplified. Number 3 is National Parks. Number 2 is Knights by Illusionist. And number 1, Monarchs. Pick a color, doesn't matter. Monarchs in general, best cards, in my opinion. If you have a different deck in mind, or drop your top 5 decks of playing cards down below. If you like what you see and you want to see more in the future, click that subscribe button down below. Really helps out the channel, and it goes a long way for me personally. My goal is to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and if you want to be a part of making that happen, then click that button down below. Turn on that bell notification to get notified whenever I upload new videos. I try to post about once a week. Sometimes it gets pushed a little bit further than that, but typically you can expect a video about once a week from me. And let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see in the future. I really like taking advice from you guys, and lets me know what you guys are interested in seeing. So let me know what that might be, and I guess until next time, peace.